Batman, also known as Bruce Wayne, is one of the most iconic characters in fiction. Yet, even with this massive popularity, it's apparent that fans of the comic book world and comic book media don't actually know how powerful and capable the Dark Knight truly is. I'm sure very often you guys have heard people say things like, "Oh, Batman's just a normal human, he needs prep time to do anything." And those statements just aren't even close to true, but this is most likely due to adaptations like the Nolan trilogy and Matt Reeves' The Batman, which are both phenomenal adaptations of the character. However, they both depict the Dark Knight in a much more grounded and realistic light. And because these films are so popular, fans often use these forms of media to scale Batman overall, while not being aware of his actual feats in scaling in the source material. But there is no need to fear, because in this video, we, the Hive Mind, will be explaining and showing you guys just how powerful the Dark Knight actually is, from his underrated strength and speed to his wide array of gadgets, tech, and fighting skills. And this will all be base Batman, no prep time, no outside help, just regular schmegular Batman. But very briefly, before we get into this video, it would be greatly appreciated if you guys could head over and subscribe to myself and King Six's gaming channels. We've been working hard over there on those channels, and we got a lot of gaming stuff coming over there as well if you guys are interested in gaming.
First up is the Caped Crusader's inhumane speed feats. Before we get started, I want to explain what makes a speed feat impressive, especially when comparing characters dodging the same type of attack, that being the speed formula. The speed formula is described as distance over time, so a speed feat is generally more impressive if the distance traveled is larger within a smaller period of time. Keeping this in mind, we can go over Batman's speed feats. First off, we have the fact that Bruce has consistently shown himself capable of dodging and reacting to bullets. He has dodged several gunmen shooting at him at a close range, even gunmen who are using machine guns. This has happened even when these gunmen are at point blank range. The bullets don't even seem to touch him. Professional snipers even say that they can't hit Batman because of how fast he moves. Batman himself has said that he sees these bullets in slow motion, to the point where he feels that he could pluck them right out of the air as they move towards him. Now, bullets are one thing, but the impressive stuff is his showings against characters who use lightspeed attacks. There are consistent showings of Batman dodging several lightspeed attacks, whether it be from villains like Dr. Light, who shoots light-based energy, radiation blast from Atomic Skull at point-blank range, and for those of you who don't know, radiation waves move at light speed. He's also regularly dodged heat vision from Kryptonians such as Superman and Supergirl on multiple different occasions, even after it's fired, which eliminates aim dodging. He's done so whether he's off guard or at point blank with a wide range version of the attack. This is noteworthy because it's been verbatim stated that the Kryptonian heat vision is photonic in nature and moves at light speed. In addition to that, he's dodged several sources of heat vision from rats with Kryptonian eyes implanted into them, lightning from the Speed Force wall, which is insane because the Speed Force wall is the source of power for all the flashes and is stated to be light speed at a bare minimum. Batman has also dodged blast from an evil version of Green Lantern, which again, the lantern energy is stated to be light based, which means it would be moving at light speed. However, out of all of these feats, one of the best showings of his light speed reactions comes from his first meeting with the Justice League, where he's shown countering, kicking, and defending against Aquaman and Martian Manhunter, then moving Aquaman in front of him, all before Green Lantern's lightspeed projectile reaches him. Now, as I already went over, a speed feat's impressiveness can be quantified using the speed formula, so the fact that Batman's able to do all of this while Lantern's blast is so close to him is extremely impressive. Other characters have described Batman's speed as inhuman. This goes so far as to some of them not even being able to see him when he moves, and if they do, he appears to be a blur. This has happened to many characters, even to a superhuman like Azrael, who he disappears from while Jean-Paul is looking directly at him. However, this faster than eyesight speed is not exclusive to only street tiers. Batman has been shown speed blitzing and subduing Black Lightning, blinding Major Force, and one-shotting Katana, all before they can react. Katana being a character who in this era had no issues perceiving and reacting to lightspeed attacks at a close range. He's also disappeared from the eyesight of Superman on multiple occasions. He's even done it to Superman and Captain Atom at the same time. He straight up disappeared in front of Martian Manhunter, with Manhunter even commenting on how good he is. And he's disappeared from in front of Gotham and Gotham Girl, even while they're using their enhanced senses to try and find him. One of the reasons Batman is able to easily move as fast as he does is likely due to his ability to react without conscious thought. Through his years of training, Batman has been described to have achieved a similar state to Ultra Instinct, which allows him to have no delay between his thoughts and his actions. This is why he's able to match the likes of Deathstroke in speed, another character who moves as fast as he thinks. Moreover, this Ultra Instinct-like ability has been so fine-tuned that it's allowed him to develop a sort of sixth sense that can warn him of danger and play out whole fights in his head before they happen. Batman has also been consistently able to react react to speedsters or characters with super speed. For example, he's shown the ability to react to Kid Wally West and snap one of Speedy's arrows simultaneously. He's reacted to Impulse, who was moving fast enough to leave after images. He's been shown fast enough to throw down smoke before a trying Barry Allen could speed blitz him, and he's fast enough to react to a speed blitz from an in-range Kingdom Come Supergirl and counter her using a Kryptonian martial art. Batman has also reacted to and tagged the Red Mask, whose ability was stated to be multiverse jumping forward through time by split seconds or 0.05 seconds. This ability is extremely similar to the time skip ability Hit displays in Dragon Ball Super. Also, we know Batman reacted to the time skip because there are motion lines below Red Mask, indicating that he traveled forward toward Batman, and every time he uses this time skip, his body glows with a red electric aura, as shown when Batman tags him. Finally, Batman has also been shown to be on par with Nightwing in speed, who's just blatantly able to dodge light speed attacks for fun and react to characters like Cheetah, Sinestro, and Gorilla Grodd at the same time, which means it would be logical to assume that Batman could do the same.
Moving on to Batman's monstrous physical strength, he's been shown casually repping upwards of 2,000 pounds on bench press, with this likely being a weight that he can consistently manage due to the fact that he isn't even using a spotter. In addition to that, we know that this is at bare minimum 2,000 pounds because if we look closely at the second to largest plate, it says 500 pounds, meaning that the other side also has 500 pounds. And there's a larger plate before that one, which would logically be the heaviest plate. And if we know anything about how bench press works, that same plate would also be on the other side as well, making this feat comfortably above 2,000 pounds at low ball, because we haven't even taken into account the smaller plates on the end, which would likely make this feat upwards of 3,000 pounds. Batman has also shown the ability to yank 5 full-grown men with one arm. The weight of the average man is around 200 pounds, making this easily an 1,000-pound feat with one arm. Moreover, Batman has shown that he can easily catch a concrete pillar overhead while in an awkward position. This pillar that he caught was likely in the multi-ton range considering how dense concrete can be. Batman has also been shown swinging around 600-pound man-bats with relative ease. This is noteworthy because of how strong the man-bats themselves are. Being able to do things such as carry cars while in flight and also pick up cars and throw them into other cars, destroying them completely, and having verbatim statements of being superhuman. In addition to all of that, Batman has also been shown matching Man-Bat in strength in a tug-of-war. He's shown the strength necessary to slow down a speeding car. This is impressive considering the average weight of a car is around 4,000 pounds. And due to the context of the car speeding away, it would be likely to assume that the car is going around 50 miles per hour at low ball. If we head over to our force calculator, we put in the mass of 4,000 pounds for the car, obviously. Then we put in the meters per second for 50 miles per hour. And then we get a force of 40,554 newtons. We then convert those newtons to pound force and we get 9,117 pounds, which means that Batman slowing down this car was able to produce more force than that. Moving on, we see that Batman is strong enough to rip open an airplane door mid-flight, which would require over 24,000 pounds of force. And even if you wanted to take the position of Batman only did this because he struck the door and then ripped it off, he still would have to overcome that same amount of force due to the fact that the plane is flying so fast and he's overcoming the wind pressure of the plane moving that fast, essentially still requiring the same level of strength. Batman has also shown the strength necessary to pull a pillar that weighed roughly 44,000 pounds. We can calculate the approximate weight of this pillar by looking at the man next to it and assuming that he's average height. The average height of a man is 5'9", and the pillar is about 3 of that man in length, which would give us 207 inches for the length of the pillar, and the pillar is about 2/3 of his height and width, so about 46 inches. If we put in all those numbers while taking into account that the most common material for columns is granite, we get a weight of 43,523 pounds. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, no way Batman is that strong, but I'll be glad to inform you that he actually is, and it gets even worse. Batman has also shown that he is strong enough to overpower and break Killer Croc's jaw with his bare hands. This is impressive because the bite force of a normal crocodile is around 5,000 pounds, and I think it's extremely fair to say that Killer Croc is at low ball 10 times stronger than a normal crocodile considering his strength feats, such as drawing blood from a character like Osiris, who is stated to verbatim have Kryptonian levels of strength and power, and severely damage the likes of General Zod by biting on his arm. With that being said, with Killer Croc at bare minimum being at least 10 times stronger than a normal crocodile, it's fair to say that this feat would be upwards of 50,000 pounds of force. Moving on from that, Batman has also shown that he's strong enough to just casually crush guns in his bare grip, whether it be assault rifles or different types of pistols. This is noteworthy because the vast majority of guns are made of carbon steel. Just to lowball, mild carbon steel has a tensile strength of 370 to 500 megapascals. If we lowball and take 370 megapascals and convert it into pound force, we get 53,663 pounds, which means that at lowball, Batman is able to produce more force than that with a single hand. And again, that's with me using the low end of the tensile strength. The tensile strength could very well be 500 megapascals, which would make those feats even more impressive. Moving on, Batman has also been shown lifting up a portion of a collapsed building. We know that this was a portion of a collapsed building because if we look at the next page, even though he's lifting a support beam, the support beam is supporting a whole bunch of debris from the collapsed portion of the building. Batman has also shown the ability to just straight up be able to rip off an Amazobot's head with raw strength. This is impressive because Amazos are stated to be made of the same material that was used to help make Cyborg. And for those of you who don't know, Cyborg is made of depleted promethium, which is nearly indestructible. Batman has also shown the strength necessary to throw Dr. Death, who is a 100-pound man, through a door that was stated to be cruise missile proof. Now, for the sake of argument, let's just say Dr. Death was wrong about the door being cruise missile proof. We know for a fact that this is a military base that was stated to be so secure that once anything got in, nothing could get out. We also can tell by the material of the door that it's clearly made of some kind of steel, especially considering the fact that Dr. Death was so confident in this door being able to stop a cruise missile. But for the sake of lowballing, let's just say that this door was made out of the same material that makes guns, which is carbon steel. As I already showed earlier, in order to break carbon steel, you need to produce over 53,000 pounds of force, and that's per square inch. If we look at the thickness of the door, we can see that it's clearly at least 4 to 5 inches thick, which would now mean we have to do 53,000 pounds times 5, which would give us over 265,000 pounds of force produced, meaning that Batman was able to throw a grown man with over 265,000 pounds of force. And you have people that will still look you dead in your face and tell you that Batman isn't capable enough to fight characters like Captain America, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Wolverine, etc., etc. With that being said, we'll now go into Batman's striking power and/or attack potency. For starters, Batman has consistently been shown to be able to kick through trees swiftly with one blow. Now, if we look at the size of the tree in comparison to Batman's foot or leg, it's fair to say that the tree's diameter is roughly 24 inches. And in order to split a 24-inch log in half, you'd have to produce over 30 tons of force, meaning that Batman is kicking with 30 plus tons of force. Batman has also been shown casually kicking through a concrete pillar that was relative in size to those trees that we just went over. And Batman's been shown punching and kicking so hard that he was eventually able to crack a bazooka-proof glass. Moreover, Batman has consistently been shown being able to affect mid-tier and high-tier characters with regular punches and kicks. For example, he's consistently been able to stagger Wonder Woman with regular punches and kicks. He's been able to do the same to the likes of Martian Manhunter. He's also consistently put hands on Solomon Grundy, and I mean like really consistently. This is noteworthy because Solomon Grundy is a character who's strong enough to throw blows with Superman, Bizarro, Etrigan, the Shazam family, and members of the Justice Society of America. It's also been verbatim stated by DC themselves that Solomon Grundy's strength and power never waxes and wanes, meaning Batman is able to damage and beat up a character of that level of strength. Batman's also shown the striking power necessary to knock out the likes of Gorilla Grodd, the same Gorilla Grodd who's strong enough to take thousands of punches from a trying Wally West and go blow for blow with the likes of Darkseid's son Caliban. Batman's also shown the strength and striking power necessary to punch on Hawkman, send the masked vigilante Gotham flying with a kick. The same Gotham was shown going blow for blow with members of the Justice League, and he's been shown staggering the likes of Despero with a kick. At this point, I'm sure you guys are aware of how ridiculous Batman's strength and striking power is, but now let's see how he can use his gear to help augment that.
Next up, we have the gear that Batman carries regularly. Given that this video is about base form Batman, we will be disqualifying any gear that Batman creates with prep for single use. And that means that suits such as the Hellbat, Justice Buster, and Final Bat suit will not be included in this breakdown, as they are not able to be summoned in a random encounter. With that being said, we have been shown that Batman carries hundreds of pellets in his utility belt, which have a variety of uses ranging from flashbangs, to explosives, to cryogenics, to smoke bombs, to tranquilizers, to even Scarecrow's fear toxin. And it has also been said that he carries 150 knockout gas variations of the pellets, and can carpet bomb a large area of the battlefield at once with them. One of the best versions of these pellets contains a hardening foam that has been strong enough to temporarily restrain powerful characters such as Damage, who you could think of as DC's Hulk, and Failsafe, who's a robot created by Batman's alternate personality. Both of these characters being strong enough to take on the whole Justice League, with Failsafe even matching a slightly weaker Superman. The most popular piece of gear that Batman carries are his batarangs, which are very sharp throwable objects that come in all different types. The standard batarang is already sharp enough to cut right through the barrel of multiple guns, but Bruce also has batarangs that can create large explosions, disperse gas, electrify opponents, create powerful AoE sound attacks, and even ones made of the special nth metal that can attack intangible objects. And speaking of nth metal, we know that Batman carries nth metal knuckles, which allow him to strengthen his attack potency and affect otherworldly beings by attacking them at their specific dimensional frequency. As for the Batsuit itself, it also provides a variety of defenses for Batman, especially the cowl, which is filled to the brim with technology that allows him to see night vision and infrared, analyze different substances, protect from psionic attacks, and is reinforced with Kevlar, which protects his head and the back of his neck from bullets and other serious attacks. Speaking of bullets, Batman's entire suit is shown to be bulletproof, even his cape. Batman has even said that the suit absorbs the kinetic energy from the bullets so that his body doesn't even feel them at all. As for other defensive capabilities, the suit is completely acid-proof, even being able to protect Batman when he is completely submerged in acid. It is also fireproof, allowing him to survive the heat of re-entry from a fall from space. And on top of all of that, it's also insulated against electrical attacks. This brings up the next point of the suit's offensive capabilities, the first of which is the suit taser, which can disperse an electrical charge of up to 200,000 volts. The suit is also able to let out an EMP that can knock out any electrical-based devices in the vicinity. Probably the most impressive part of the suit are the gauntlets, which allow Batman to absorb different forms of energy and redirect them. These gauntlets can also be charged up to higher degrees, which can increase his attack potency. These seismic gauntlets have been described by Slade to allow Bruce to harm beings much stronger than him, such as Superman, and super powerful villains such as the Apex Lex Luthor.
Next thing to go over is Batman's skill. Batman is consistently stated to be a master of all forms of combat, not only being stated to know all known forms of combat, but flat out all forms. This would include the many unknown forms of martial arts within DC Comics. An example of an unknown fighting style that Batman knows is Vandal Savage's own martial art that he himself created. This style is so complex that a younger Batman, before he learned the style, believed it to only be accessible to immortals, meaning traditionally it would take lifetimes of experience to master the form. But being as skilled as he is, Batman learned the style himself and incorporated it within his own fighting style, noted by Lady Shiva to be one of the styles Cassandra Cain was using to emulate Batman's fighting style. Batman dove into human anatomy and learned every single nerve strike the human body has. Through learning all these nerve strikes, Batman has a total of 463 different ways to incapacitate a human being without drawing blood. Through learning all these different martial arts, Batman has also created multiple of his own forms. One of those forms is called Bam Pow, which was a form designed specifically to counter the Batman who laughs. This evil doppelganger has all of Batman's training, but is as unpredictable as the Joker. And using this form, he was able to contend the evil variant. Taking from the abundance of martial arts that Batman knows and has mastered, he merges them together to create new styles and techniques. He's even able to do this on the fly to counteract whatever opponent that he is fighting. For example, when fighting the Batman who laughs, Batman needed techniques that favored power, so he merged 5 different styles to create a technique to fill that requirement. The Dark Knight is so talented within martial arts that he can learn and master techniques just by seeing them, effectively allowing him to not only replicate the techniques within battle, but augment them to make them better. For example, after seeing Lady Shiva's leopard blow one time, he was able to augment it and make it non-lethal. Within Batman's second year of being a crime fighter, he was stranded on an alien ship where he learned the fighting styles of multiple different alien races. By fighting against a robot training dummy, he practiced and learned the fighting styles of these different races and learned how to counter them. This same punchbot trained those alien races to perfect their own styles. Batman would then proceed to go and fight these aliens 3 dozen at a time, with all of these aliens being trained in all manners of murder. We learned they are located in the Slag Galaxy, so it is highly likely Batman learned all the alien fighting styles within this galaxy. From what we know about Batman's ability to master martial arts and the proficiency he's shown with these alien styles, styles, it is highly likely he mastered all of these alien styles. He has dove into learning Kryptonian martial arts as well. Becoming so proficient in them, he was able to teach them to Superman. We have even seen him use these martial arts to take on opponents significantly stronger than himself. Like when he took on Supergirl from the Kingdom Come reality, he used a Kryptonian technique to easily dispatch her and take her down in only one move. With all this taken into account, Batman has generated his own highly technical, unpredictable, and personalized style unique to himself. This is why Batman has been given the title of best fighter and most skilled fighter within DC by not only characters within the verse, but also guidebook and narrator statements, being stated as such by highly skilled martial artists such as Bronze Tiger and Red Hood, and then within guidebooks having been stated to have peerless fighting skills, and mentions on other people's pages such as Nightwing's, where Nightwing is stated to have fighting skills second only to Batman. Batman is so skilled that he consistently destroys the League of Assassins within combat, and the League are the most trained combatants in the world, with even their cannon fodder members being masters of all known styles of combat. Batman bullies the League so often that Talia al Ghul, the daughter of the group's leader, has stated that not even 1,000 assassins could defeat Batman within a fight. Nightwing, who is, as aforementioned, less skilled than Batman, fought against 1,000 and took down hundreds by himself. Batman has even defeated these assassins whilst they were transformed into mutant man-bats. This is impressive because the assassins would keep all of their skill with enhanced physical capabilities, and even then, Batman is still able to beat them down. The Caped Crusader has even defeated the group's leader, Ra's al Ghul, within a sword fight. Ra's is the same combatant with centuries of combat experience and who specializes within his sword. There is a reason why Ra's wants Batman to be his successor so badly. Even as early as Batman's first encounter with the Justice League, he is able to use his battle IQ to take them down. Batman's skill set makes him a one-man army, being able to take on the entirety of Bane's castle, filled with multiple lines of defense and his own private army. And Batman just takes this fight head on, dealing with tens if not hundreds at a time. Batman has easily dispatched of the world's deadliest assassin, Deathstroke, a combatant who not only mastered all forms of martial arts himself, but has taken on the Justice League by himself, where, by the way, if you didn't watch our Batman vs. Deathstroke video already, after this video, go check that out. One time, Batman had to fight against a being comprised of the collective unconscious within DC. This being had the ability to transcend human concepts, which would include martial arts, even stating that anything Batman could think of, it could transcend. But Batman, with not a care in the world, took this opponent on and outskilled it, showing that Batman has some form of conceptual mastery over his martial arts. Even opponents like Bane, who is physically superior to Batman and comparable in skill, is consistently on the losing end of this matchup. Batman beats him down so consistently and convincingly that Bane believes the only way to defeat Batman is to exhaust him in every conceivable way. The martial arts master from the 31st century, Karate Kid, had mastered every single martial art up until the 31st century. Even when not fighting all out, Batman is able to fight relative to Karate Kid, and within their next encounter, heavily disadvantaged through fighting in anti-gravity, a form that Karate Kid does have experience with, Batman was still able to fight extremely relative, with Karate Kid even stating that he can learn much from Batman, proceeding to receive lessons from Batman during their fight. This implies some form of superiority from Batman in martial arts prowess, meaning that Batman is quite literally ahead of his time when it comes to martial arts. Telepaths such as Grifter are unable to defeat Batman. Even people such as Midnighter, who possess the battle computer, a system that feeds him every single possible scenario within a fight, is heavily implied to not stand a chance in a fight against Batman. This would be consistent, seeing as Nightwing, a character noted to be second to Batman in fighting skills, has been able to outskill Midnighter's battle computer before. With all this being put together, Batman is one of, if not the most skilled and proficient fighters within comic books.
Moving on to Batman's durability, he has impressive showings both in and outside the Batsuit. Starting with durability outside the Batsuit, he can survive being manhandled by a mind-controlled Wonder Woman with killing intent and get up with negligible damage. After fighting the killer robot Failsafe created by Batman's split personality Zero-Nar, Batman travels to an alternate reality where he fights multiple randomized rogues with a venom even more powerful than Bane. For context, Bane's venom has already been stated to be 10 times multiplier in strength and endurance. Batman then takes a massive beating from a venomized Killer Croc just to get shot and get sent flying out of a window, falling a bare minimum of 10 stories. This is impressive because K already went over Killer Croc is strong enough to damage somebody with Kryptonian levels of power without venom. We also see Croc perform similar levels of power when he was able to bite and damage an enraged General Zod. While fighting Lincoln March, Batman gets slammed into a building and falls to the ground just to get up and fight like nothing had happened. While in his suit, Batman is consistently stabbed and slashed and keeps on fighting. Fighting a super venom amped Ghostmaker, Batman is not only stabbed in his shoulder and continues fighting like he was fine, but then he gets his hand chopped off, then just tied it up when he woke back up from exhaustion and continued with his mission. He has been cut by the likes of Etrigan the Demon and even stabbed through his body by a talon. This moment occurred while Batman had been trapped in the labyrinth where Batman would be physically and mentally tortured, all without food and water, for days on end. Batman's suit contains multiple resistances to many damages he may take in battle, such as his gauntlets, which can block damage from things like knives and swords. He has blocked sword strikes from assassins such as Shiva, and bladed projectiles such as throwing stars and knives. Batman has planned to be shot, so he has added multiple layers of Kevlar into his batsuit to defend against bullets, as well as his gauntlets, cowl, and cape being able to withstand bullets. Its most impressive resistance is his resistance to intense heat. As Batman fell from space, his suit prevented him from burning up on re-entry. Speaking of Batman falling from space, Batman calculated the angle he would have to land to not die on impact. However, the force Batman would have needed to withstand this fall is impressive in itself. Batman's blunt force durability has always been superhuman by real-life standards. He has taken energy blasts from Darkseid that knocked back the whole Justice League and leveled a large portion of a city, survived an atomic skull explosion that spanned multiple city blocks at point-blank range with little damage done. This feat is even more crazy when you take into account that the same energy blasts were capable of damaging Superman and Wonder Woman. In addition to that, Batman has taken a hit from the adaptive robot Amazo, who possessed the powers and the abilities of the Justice League, hits from Shaggy Man, who traded blows with both Wonder Woman and Superman, a backhand from the Superman rogue Mongol, an insane beating from Bane amped on a venom that made Batman capable of drawing blood from Superman, and a blast that made both Superman and Wonder Woman bleed.
With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed learning about how powerful Batman is. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below, and thank you for watching.